Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, my dear doctors. This is lecture number 8 for free online course, and we are going to discuss how you can study a certain topic with the help of artificial intelligence. I will be speaking about one of the AI tools that is very helpful for doctors. It's called Notebook LM. So the way you study is completely changed with the presence of artificial intelligence tool. My name is Dr. Muhammad Amal Farouk. I'm a consultant vascular surgeon. We're going to speak about a new way of studying a certain topic. And this is new way will depend on artificial intelligence. Let us take an example that I want to study pelvic congestion syndrome. Topic which comes frequently in the exam, which have new guidelines, a new way of managing, and a lot of new tools. Let me show you how we can study pelvic congestion syndrome with the help of AI. Number one, you need to go to Google search and you need to get data for your topic. EKB or Egyptian Knowledge Bank is one of the very good sources of knowledge. And here you log in with the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, AKB. Usually it is very easy to create account. And after creating the account, you go into sources and you select all sources. And here it will collect for you all sources. One of the very good sources of getting information is clinical key. So here you press on clinical key and you open clinical key, which is a tool by Elsevier that will collect all the data that you will need for your study. So here I'm signing in. And when you go to clinical key, which by Elsevier, it contains all the published data, you put the topic that you want to study here. So let us say congestion syndrome. You write it down, what you want to study, and you select here guideline. Here are options, a lot of options for you. You can select books, you can select journals, and shortest one is you select guidelines. By selecting guidelines and you put search, then it will collect to you all the topic of pelvic congestion syndrome which are found into the guidelines. This is what is called sources detection. So you detect the sources and you can download them very easily in PDF format. After you have downloaded your sources, which may be 3 or 4 sources, most recent one, you go to Google Notebook LM. And here it's a free. You just need to sign in with your Google. It doesn't need anything further. And you have all your resources in one folder and you go to your account, which is specialized for you. Now, Notebook LM have a great way of collecting all the information. So here is pelvic congestion syndrome. You click to open it and there is sources. These sources are the one we have got from the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. You need to import the sources. Then you can have a chat with these sources and these books, and you can have what is called studio. A studio means that you can make a podcast out of this material. So, for example, if you put on loading the material, It will get all the 4 books and put it in a format that is for you very easy to listen to. And it is much easier than studying. And you can record it into USB and put it in your car. Whenever you are moving around, you can have this podcast to summarize to you how you study. Here it takes maybe about 15 seconds, and I will show you how you listen to this podcast, how it looks like.
Welcome to our deep dive into chronic venous disease. You've given us a ton of sources on this, clinical guidelines, research articles, even some personal stories. So we're going to kind of like blend the practical with some real insights into how these conditions are diagnosed and treated.
This is the first introduction, but chronic venous disease, because I have put document of the recent guideline, which includes the ASVS 2022 guideline, which put the pelvic congestion syndrome among chronic venous disease. You can see it's nearly around half an hour. So if you listen to it 3 or 4 times, you probably have gained a lot of information.
Or PCS, why is that?
PCS is a fascinating subset of CVD that often gets misdiagnosed or completely overlooked. It specifically affects the veins in the pelvis, which, as you can imagine, leads to a different set of symptoms compared to varicose veins in the legs.
So we're not just talking about leg pain here. What are the symptoms of PCS?
Well, the symptoms can be varied and often mimic other conditions, which is one reason.
This is the symptom of pelvic congestion syndrome. You can see it's a very nice conversation. It converts your book into a podcast between 2 very eminent podcaster worldwide, who have very nice voice. Not only that, but if you go in the evening, you can say, for example, what are the symptoms of PCS or pelvic congestion syndrome. So you can have a chat with this notebook. What it will do, it will get the answer from the sources that you have allocated for them. So it doesn't give you any wrong answer. If your sources are reliable, depend on recent guidelines, then surely you will get a correct answer. You will not get something which is called AI hallucination, which is sometimes will get the wrong answer due to very difficult long algorithm, which usually should not cross 5% in any algorithm for AI. So let us put here this question. Here is the time in second. Obviously, processing is not done in your PC, but is done on the server. So you can see here is the answer. Common symptom, chronic pelvic pain, dyspareunia, postcoital. Not only this, but it will give you what is the reference of this answer. So here, this is the reference, which is part of the data that you have entered into the chat. Here is the reference. Again, it gives you the evidence that this is correct. So here is a new way. You completely change the way we study. It will get advantage of converting a book into a voice, a podcast you can listen to multiple times. You can get the questions and you can get the answer. It's an extremely useful way. It doesn't waste your time and it will focus you on a topic. And usually you can finish any topic within probably 1 or 2 days according to the size of the topic that you want to start. And you can have multiple facilities with the chat. You can say, yes, this is a correct, good answer. You can copy it and you will learn a lot as if you are studying with a colleague. I hope this way of new studying is very helpful for all specialty of doctors. It gets used, it gets advantage of how to use your time. Don't waste your time while transporting from hospital to another or from clinic to hospital. Use this time. Sometimes it's very long. Sometimes you spend 1 or 2 hours in your car. why to waste this 1 or 2 hours? You can learn a lot about your profession, and you can learn a lot about memorizing Quran and so on. I hope this lecture is of benefit to you, and see you with next lecture number 9. Wish you all the best.